There it goes. What's up, guys? How we doing? It is Coach Ryan here with Project Fresh. Hope you guys are well. I see someone jumped right in here, so appreciate you being in here with us. It's interesting with today. Funny, believe it or not. I'm on time, 6:45. I had some start error that wasn't allowing me to start at 6:45, but more or less on time. I was dealing with my phone in the coaching session I just had, my usual Wednesday session. And lo and behold, my phone is dead. It's got at the most, I think 10% on it, 13%, which I know would not last a live stream on Instagram. So you guys continue to watch me uh, take on this habit of live streaming, both YouTube, which is very simple to do on a computer that's plugged into a wall, versus a mobile device that's only plugged in the wall when you plug it in and it has a limited resource. Man, that sounds like a live stream to do. When to plug in? Maybe I'll have to write that down as a topic for the future. Uh, but yeah, what's up? How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are well. I wanted to talk about commitment today, committing to a process, the challenges around that. I noticed there's a commitment phobia or a reticence to commit to certain things, or uh, we listen to the voices that are contrary to what we feel deep down would be the result of committing to a process that shows benefit, more or less these kinds of things. And so I wanted to talk to it, and it wasn't the essence of the coaching session I just had. It wasn't necessarily the main focus of it, but it's definitely something that was on my mind for our live stream today. And one particular thing that I wanted to get to with commitment was that in the process of committing to something, it is a process and it requires time. Anything we do in life that's worth doing requires time. Anything that's going to bring about a step up in our lifestyle that we all hope would have a direct impact. I don't know. I want to use a different word to have a direct result in our life. Let's use that word instead. Would produce a result in our life. We desire to get that process done as quick as possible so we can get to the end goal. And what I find interesting about life is that when that process goes quickly and I get the thing that I want or desire to have, I don't necessarily get everything out of that experience that I could. So it's like, well, Ryan, you get the thing you want. What more is there to get from that? Well, everything that comes with the longer journey that has trials, tribulations, challenges, situations that are completely and totally unexpected. Appreciate the thumbs up today. Situation where, for example, most of us, if not all of us on the planet right now, are dealing with coronavirus, COVID-19, sheltered in place. And that's something that none of us probably anticipated for the most part. I mean, there's probably some folks who are like, hey, told you, you know, we should have been more diligent about viruses and things like that. I mean, you see that argument out there, but I mean, in general, the circumstances of actually having to live this out and the challenges that would come with it, definitely a challenge overall, definitely something that is what would I say, is unexpected. Will we have to relive this challenge again, this journey? We all want to get back to what was before. Wouldn't necessarily call it normal life. It's just the way in which we were living for as long as we can remember, however that may be. But in what we're seeking in this season, will we learn the lessons along the way that would help us not go back to this situation again in some variation, shape, or form? How committed are we to digging deeper to those those things which require more effort to get to? I don't necessarily think that was maybe example that I wanted to get to, but commitment in its entirety and the fullness of what can come from committing to a process and not taking the easy way can be very beneficial. So I just wanted to briefly say that our focus here at Project Fresh is specifically to partner, to come alongside, to hold up, to encourage, to do any other kind of one another statement that would provide a support system, something that is different from what your current circumstance, environment, situation may be. Not so much in the context of like what you could find from that it would be unique to you. It would be specific to you. It'd be developed in a way that matches where you're at, and then go through a process together where you come out on the other side, learning, thinking, acting, doing, believing, experiencing things much different than you were when you started before. And it doesn't have to be in multiple areas in your life, but we're definitely in a position where we want to bring about a coaching partnership with you where you see some finer details shift at the very least in the thinking. So the photo we use today is it's a very interesting photo. It's a meter, um, low, average, high, maximum. We don't know. We can't see on the far left what that level of commitment is on the far left, but it is a measurement of commitment. We live in a society here in the United States, especially with capitalism, but where we are measured based on our actionable tasks, how we produce, how quote unquote committed we are. Where we're evaluated on our worth by money, by rewards, by attendance to work, by how often we work. That's something I've talked about here in the Bay. If you're working 40 hours, you are screwing up. 50 minimum, 55 minimum, 60 minimum. 40 is not cutting it. That's how it feels, the standard here in the Bay Area. And so that may be what we're used to, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about in the context of commitment. I'm looking at it more from a perspective of commitment in an understanding way, in a realization kind of way that, again, as I started with, anything that's worth pursuing, anything that's worth experiencing, anything that has value that we want to experience requires an amount of time. For example, to have a true, in the context of fitness and nutrition, to have a good foundation that you can really build from to start with. A lot of people say 21 days makes a habit. I disagree. 21 days starts to build the foundation with which you can develop a habit. It takes the body typically 2 to 3 weeks to get used to starting a new fitness program. It takes the body 2 3 weeks minimum to start getting used to changing up the way that you eat, because you're so used to the way that you eat as far as habits are concerned. The body is processing based on those habits. So if you're putting sugar and starch and heavy fats and other things that might be causing inflammation, chronic pain, chronic heart related challenges, chronic fogginess, mental fogginess, if you will, low energy, these kinds of things, it is going to require a particular um, amount of time for your body to start saying, wow, I'm not getting all those inflammatory things in my body, sugar, starches, uh, you know, anything else that would inflame the body. And there's many different things. It could be physical trauma, it could be emotional trauma, mental trauma that manifests itself in the body physiologically. There's a lot of different things that can effectively inflame the body. But ultimately, there's a process where a minimum 2 to 3 weeks, that can be something where you just start to notice some differences in the changes because things don't happen overnight. It's more the understanding of what commitment is versus being committed that I'm looking to get to here today. And it was a thought that I had in my head that I wanted to share. It was based on one statement that my mentor just gave me. It's rather, excuse me, I just committed to a process where I'm going to be reading something, in this case, biblical. So this is in the context of my spiritual walk. I'm going to be reading a passage every day, and then there's three questions that are applied, and I'm going to be answering those questions based on getting into that passage and doing my best to understand and discern and learn and do all these other things. And so, and that's just the first phase. It's one of three phases, and if I'm understanding it correctly, each phase is 66 passages or 66 days. So we've got some time ahead. That's at least half a year roughly of work ahead of me, which is actually cool. I'm cool with it. That's gonna finish out the second half of my first year in my 30s. It's gonna hopefully expand upon a goal I've had for for the calendar year 2020 to read the entire Bible in the year. My goal was to try to understand or have a better understanding of God from a wide perspective. God is this all loving, uh, good God who desires so much to be in a relationship with us and love us and give us grace and mercy and just let us know how good He is. And, knowledge wise, I understand that, I conceive it, but emotionally, I don't feel it at all. There, in that context of this idea of the relationship, emotionally, I don't feel it. I might have experienced things that reaffirm mentally why God is good, why He is what He says He is in the context of what the Bible gives, but I haven't felt it. And it draws back to a relationship that I had growing up, which I've shared with you guys, a very performance based relationship with my father. And so, um, how I deal with any relationship is based on action and performance and these kinds of things, and people showing themselves based on how they act and how they perform, etc. All these different things. I'll leave it at that. But ultimately, getting back to it, I am committing to a process of reading something every single day for a period of days, weeks, and months, which is a commitment. But more so, the thing that stuck with me the most in the conversation was the understanding of it's not so much the duration in the commitment, it's the fact that these things require time. And it's okay because whatever time we have available to us is what we have. We don't know when we'll check out, but allowing ourselves to commit to the process is very beneficial in the context of it's going to be taking us somewhere. There's something that's available for that season that we currently don't know, we haven't experienced, or maybe we have, but we haven't gotten the lesson from it. And through that, it's going to grow us and bring us into another space and place that's going to allow us to relate, to give, to be, to have, to do, and certain things that we weren't able to do before. So, in the context of getting back to what we primarily focus on here in Project Fresh right now, in the context of what we do, for the majority of our clients right now, we are getting more into relationship work. We are getting more into um, health, mental, emotional health, dealing with traumas, dealing with different things in that realm too. But for the most part, it's focused primarily on okay, fitness reps, nutrition reps, applying application to it, um, being able to love self in the process, not beat self up, those kinds of things. It is a process. You don't just create and cultivate a fitness plan and a nutrition plan in a day. Start it, do it, and accomplish it. No, you have to have a certain number of days where you're doing both and also weaving or meshing, adding to the fabric of your life, eating better, exercising, moving the body, doing what's necessary for you to move in the direction you want to go. Goal body. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be able to get up a flight of stairs without breathing hard. You guys have heard me say this a number of times. I want to, more practical things. Maybe it deals more with your business. Um, you're a speaker. You're a voice. Something related to voice. You move boxes all day. You're a essential worker. You're in the medical field. You're in the grocery industry. There's something that you physically have to do every day. There's something along the lines that improving your physicality can assist you. Improving the energy you put in your body is going to assist you with your work or whatever it may be. You're a caregiver. Perhaps you have to physically move individuals on a regular basis, or care for people, which requires physical and mental effort. So, fitness and nutrition, if you do a workout and eat well for one day, that's not going to change things. In fact, typically to have a noticeable, solid difference for men, it's about 12 weeks. For women, it's about 14 weeks. And that's where you just start to see some really sizable changes. You might lose the weight that you're after in that period of time. You might have the physique you're looking for. But to really, really tap in and dial in on that transformation, 12 to 14 weeks, men, women, roughly. Just the way we're created is the reason why there's a difference in numbers. But that doesn't mean that one person is better, one group is better than the other one's lesser. It's just the way in which the body transforms between the two genders effectively. But at the end of the day, that is a period of time. That's at least 3 months. That's at least 90 days. That requires some time. That's why you see a lot of the older programs were 90 days, because science at that time determined based on what was being done, that was roughly the range. Well, now you see new programs that are 45, 30, 45, 60, and that's kind of more on the capacity side, the mental side, the engagement, commitment side. But that's another story for another day. Ultimately, going into this journey, this path requires an understanding and I would even say an acceptance, a welcoming to self, the idea of commitment. And so I want to share that with you guys today because it was something on my mind. And so if you are looking to work with us, accepting the process into play, knowing that that is going to be what it's going to be, even if you're just looking for some straight up accountability in sessions, everybody I've talked to recently has some kind of goal. There's typically just human nature says there's always something you want to work on. And perfection, if you're living life, in a place and space where you feel you're perfect, uh, most likely you're living in delusion. I don't mean to derail your perfect outlook on life right now, but there's probably somewhere in your life that you can have some work. So in this context, if you feel like your fitness, your nutrition, other aspects of your lifestyle are all down pat and you're good to go, this channel is not for you. Do message us from time to time though to let us know how your perfect lifestyle is going, so we can take some notes, so that we can use you as a case study for the rest of us that don't have that perfection. I'm saying that jokingly, but ultimately, uh, this isn't what this channel is for. We're definitely not perfect. There's a lot of things to work on. I just shared with you one thing I'm working on right now. So that being said, I just wanted to tap into that commitment, start to shift from a performance, and share with you guys this aspect and idea that I'm working on, to shift from a performance where it's not about checking boxes and achieving. It's about being in the moment. It's about living in the moment. It's about understanding it and taking it, getting the most out of it, um, day after day after day. I wish I had some analogy I could give you that would give you the very essence of what I'm trying to say. And the only thing that's coming to mind right now is squeezing an orange, um, and getting orange juice out of it. I guess if you were to do it really quick, you probably wouldn't get a lot of juice out of it, right? But if you squeeze that thing as hard as you can, you're probably going to get the most out of it. Not the best analogy, but there could be a sizable difference of orange juice that's produced over the course of many oranges squeezed, right? So if you're kind of somewhat squeezing it and leaving some juice in there, well, you might only get 75% of the juice that's available. What if that nugget you're looking for is in that 25%? I'll leave you with that question for tonight. All right, guys, we'll see you again. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6:45, right here, same place, Project Fresh. We're going to get into a few topics. We have a meetup group that's a part of our community. We have some different questions that have been asked, so I'll probably start to look to those to provide just some quick um, training webinars, if you will, 15 minutes. If I see any comments, appreciate my wife engaging with the community, saying hey to the other individual that's here. So we're saying what's up to those who are here with us. Appreciate her for that. We'll be engaging on questions that have been asked as well in this process. Until then, hope you guys have a lovely night. We'll see you next time. Take care.